4 boys got on a boat. 3 came back. The 4th was left behind on an island. No water, no shelter, no way to call for help. But here's what stops you cold. His phone wasn't with him. It was sitting inside one of their houses on the mainland. And when his mother finally got that phone open, both of his accounts had been wiped clean. 2 days later, they found his body in the water. This is an ongoing investigation. No one has been charged, no cause of death has been released. So I won't name anyone and I won't accuse anyone. We'll walk through only what's been verified and what, as of today, still has no answer. Three boys walked off that boat and went home. And for the next 6.5 hours, not one of them picked up a phone. July 4th, 2026, Independence Day. Ocean Springs, a coastal town in Mississippi. 4 young men pulled away from a private dock, heading out to Horn Island. Picture that island. 8 miles offshore, no staff, no drinking water, no shelter, no cell service. The only way to get there is by boat, and the only way to leave is the same. 3 in the afternoon. That's the last time anyone saw Nolan Wells. 4:30, the boat left the island. There were 3 people on it. According to the account given later, the boat had trouble and started taking on water. They had to head back early. And they said Nolan chose to stay behind to catch a ride home later with another group. Now, on the surface, it sounds reasonable. A holiday, a crowded beach, a teenager hanging around a little longer. But Nolan's father does not believe it. And he has a reason. He had taught his son one rule over and over for years. If you go with a group, you stay with a group. If you go with 5, you come back with 5. Never separate. And every time Nolan answered the same way. Yes, sir. So why would he split up from his group, his father said. I don't know. Sometimes the hardest question isn't what happened. It's why a person would do the one thing they'd never done in their life. But before we go any further, you need to know who Nolan was, because he isn't a name in a news report. On his last night, his mother came home from work exhausted, and that 18-year-old boy went into the kitchen and cooked her dinner. That's the last image she has of her son. Nolan Xavier Wells, 18 years old. The following month, he would have turned 19. He played wide receiver for his college football team. A new season was coming. He was actually getting ready to go back. His high school coach described him in one line. A happy-go-lucky kid with a big smile that everybody adored and loved. And his mother wrote, Nolan was a special soul. God took his time creating our son. But here's the detail that stays with you. The evening of July 3rd, one day before the trip, Nolan's mother came home late, worn out. And Nolan went into the kitchen. He baked salmon for his parents. Afterward, he grabbed his bag, heading to a friend's house to sleep over, so they could go out for the holiday in the morning. His mother remembers that moment in 6 words. It was a hug, kiss, and then he left. That was the last time she saw her son alive. And there's one more thing about Nolan. His own mother emphasized it, and it becomes very important. Nolan was not someone who liked fights. He didn't even like arguments. Remember that. Because the next morning, he got on that boat. And in the final 90 minutes of his life, Nolan Wells did something that, to this day, no 2 people describe the same way. 3 in the afternoon, he was still there. 4:30, the boat pulled away without him. 90 minutes, and 2 people tell 2 completely different stories about what happened inside those minutes. This is the gap at the center of the case, because there are 2 versions, and they both cannot be true. Version 1 from the group on the boat, they said Nolan told them he was staying behind to talk to a girl. Version 2 from the girl herself. She said Nolan told her he was heading back to the boat to leave with his friends. You see the problem. The family's attorney put it bluntly. It's a contradiction. They're not saying the same thing. One of them is telling the truth, one of them is not. Stop for a second and think about that. If Nolan told the girl he was going back to the boat, then why didn't he get on it? And if he meant to stay, why did he tell her the opposite? A contradiction doesn't prove a crime by itself. People misremember, people get confused, but it's always the first thing an investigator has to pull apart, because it's where the truth or the lie is hiding. And that contradiction is only the beginning, because Nolan left something behind, something no teenager on Earth would forget. Ask yourself one question. If you were staying behind on a deserted island, no water, no shelter, no signal, what is the one thing you would never leave behind? Nolan left his in someone else's house. His phone wasn't on that island. It was 10 miles away, on the mainland, sitting inside the home of one of the friends who'd been on the boat with him. The family's attorney asked a question everyone was already thinking. What teenager would leave their phone behind if they're going to stay on this island? But the way the family found it unsettled them even more. Nobody handed it over. The mother had to track it down herself with a location sharing app. She followed the signal and found it sitting inside the house of one of her son's friends. Then she sent someone to go get it. Think about that. The family found the phone before the police did. But what they found inside is what truly chilled her. Nolan had 2 Snapchat accounts. He used them constantly. Every time he went out, he filmed videos, took photos. That's just what he did. So picture this. A mother, days after her son's body was pulled from the water, sitting with her sister, his phone in her hands, scrolling. She opens the first account. Empty. She opens the second. Empty. Not a single photo. Not a single video. Nothing. His mother described it this way. It wasn't even 24 hours. And that's how long videos and pictures stay in Snapchat. And I was just like, that can't be. She believes the content was deleted. Now here I have to be fair. An empty phone doesn't prove anything by itself. There could be a technical explanation. Police have not confirmed the data was deliberately deleted. But what would you think if you were that mother? Your son is dead, you had to go find his phone yourself, and when you opened it, everything inside had been wiped clean. What would you think? And here's the question no one has answered. Why was that phone on the mainland, while its owner was left out at sea? But as the phone is the biggest question, there's something else circulating online that is even harder to hear. A video, and in it, a shout. Give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing? Those words are on a video circulating online, and a number of people say the voice belongs to Nolan Wells. Let me say this immediately. Police have not confirmed what's on that video. They have not confirmed that any altercation happened on the island that day. But here is what they did do. The sheriff's office put out a public statement. They asked people to send in any original, unedited photos or videos taken on the northwest tip of Horn Island that day. And they said it plainly. They specifically wanted anything depicting alleged altercations. They also asked, did anyone observe or hear an argument, disturbance, or other unusual activity on the island that day? Now, stop and think hard about that. Investigators don't ask questions like that for no reason. They ask because something made them ask. The sheriff also said investigators were trying to track down the original poster of a video in which arguing can be heard in the background. And that brings us back to those words. According to the family's attorney, the shouting voice on the video is Nolan's. When a reporter asked how they knew, he said multiple people had identified it as his. And I have to stress this again. This is the family attorney's account. Police have not confirmed it. Nothing has been proven. But now remember two things. First, Nolan's mother said her son didn't like fights. He didn't even like arguments. Second, his phone was later found inside a friend's house on the mainland. So if that video is real, what could make a young man who never argued raise his voice? And what was he demanding back? The boat left the island at 4:30 in the afternoon, but it wasn't until nearly 11 at night that the first emergency call was made. 6.5 hours. Hold that number in your head. Around 11 at night, the United States Coast Guard received a call. The caller was a friend of Nolan's. The Coast Guard later confirmed the call was real, but they wouldn't say what was said. They offered exactly one line, and it left a lot of people confused. The call did not require Coast Guard assistance. A teenager is missing on an empty island in the middle of the night, and that call did not require Coast Guard assistance? 7 minutes later, Nolan's mother's phone rang. The caller was one of the friends who had been on the boat with her son. She hasn't said what was discussed, but the moment she hung up, she called another friend asking if anyone had seen Nolan. Then, she called the police. Midnight. Nolan Wells was officially reported missing. By the early hours of the next morning, his mother was posting online, begging anyone with information to come forward. A large-scale search began. The National Park Service, the Department of Marine Resources, the Coast Guard, and a volunteer rescue group. They searched for 2 days. And here's what one of those rescuers said, a detail we have to hold on to because it may matter. That around the northwest tip of that island, you can take just a few steps and the water drops from 3 feet to 20 feet. It is dangerous water, very dangerous. But on Monday morning, July 6th, the search ended in the way no one wanted. A park ranger was walking the shoreline, and in that shallow water just off the shore, he saw something. The morning of July 6th, the body of Nolan Xavier Wells was found in the water, just off the northwestern tip of Horn Island, the same area where he was last seen. He was 18. The following month, he would have turned 19. And now, this is where we have to be extremely careful. Because this is exactly where every rumor online is swirling. And it's also where the truth has not yet been released. Listen to what the county coroner. Listen to what the county coroner actually said. He said there were no immediate, obvious signs of foul play or trauma on Nolan's body. But he also said this. Precisely because the circumstances were unclear, they requested a full autopsy at the state medical examiner's office to determine whether there was foul play or trauma for certain. And he added something we're not allowed to skip, even though it isn't what many people want to hear. That the currents in that area are strong, especially at that end of the island. And that over the years, there have been many drownings at these barrier islands. The sheriff, for his part, has stated his position repeatedly, that as of now, there is no information leading them to believe a crime occurred, that the case is being investigated as a death, not a homicide. That is the truth, and it has to be said in full. There is a very real possibility that this was a tragic drowning in water that has taken lives before. But there's also questions no one has been able to answer. And the official autopsy, along with the toxicology report, has not been released. It could take weeks. Which means that right now, as you watch this video, no one on Earth knows for certain what took the life of Nolan Wells. Not me, not you, and certainly not the people screaming on social media. And it was in that vacuum that a family decided they would not sit and wait. When a family doesn't believe the answer they've been given, they have 2 choices: accept it or fight. Nolan's family chose to fight. They hired Ben Crump, one of the most prominent civil rights attorneys in America, the man who represented the family of George Floyd. July 10th in Harlem, New York, a press conference. Beside Nolan's parents stood Crump and Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Sharpton opened with exactly one line. "What we've been told does not make sense." And what Nolan's parents demanded was not revenge. His mother said, "We just want honesty and transparency. We want that same respect that would be given to anybody else, and that's it." Then she said something that may be the most heartbreaking line in this entire case. "We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home." The family doesn't easily accept the drowning theory either. Their attorney pointed out that Nolan was a strong athlete. He knew how to swim. They commissioned an independent autopsy. His body was flown to Washington. The cost, according to their attorney, was covered with help from former football player Colin Kaepernick. And there's one more thing that has to be said, because it's a part of this story in America. Nolan was black. The three friends on the boat were white. Ocean Springs is a majority white town. In Mississippi, that carries a historical weight nobody can pretend isn't there. But it was Nolan's own mother who said the line, "I think we should remember." Regardless of the color of anyone's skin, your hope is that the people your children call friends will be there. And when Nolan's friends organized a protest, it was his mother who called for calm. Nolan was not someone who liked fights, she said. He didn't really even like arguments. So don't go out there trying to be tough. Just think about what Nolan would want. A mother who had just lost her son in the middle of a media storm, standing up and asking people to stay peaceful. Because that's what her son would have wanted. And perhaps that's the right way for us to close this story too. At this point, I'm not going to hand you an answer, because the truth is no one has one. So let's take a look at what has been verified. 4 young men went to that island. 3 came back. Nolan Wells did not. His final 90 minutes have still not been explained. 2 accounts of his last intentions, and they contradict each other. His phone was found on the mainland, inside a friend's house. His family tracked it down before the police did, and when they opened it, his mother says it was empty. Now, police publicly asked the community for video of the alleged altercations on the island that day. And those same police say that, as of now, there is no evidence of a crime occurred. The coroner said there were no obvious signs of trauma, and he noted the currents there are strong, and people have drowned in those waters before. Both of those things are true, and both have to be said. Now, let me be very blunt with you. Right now on social media, a lot of people are accusing specific individuals by name, based on anonymous posts, unsourced rumors, witnesses no one can verify. I'm not going to do that. Because if we destroy the lives of people who may be innocent, we are not getting justice for Nolan. We're just creating more victims. Nolan deserves the truth, the real truth, not a story written for him on the internet. So, if you were on Horn Island on the 4th of July, if you have photos, videos, or saw anything at all, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office is asking you to contact them. And remember Nolan Wells, not as a symbol, not as an argument online. Remember him as what he was, an 18-year-old with a big smile, a football player about to start a new season, a son who on that last night went into the kitchen and baked salmon for his parents because his mother came home tired from work. A hug, a kiss, and he left. This is an ongoing case. When the official results come in, we'll bring you the update. So, what part of this story makes the least sense to you? Leave your thoughts in the comments, but please keep it respectful, and please don't accuse people who haven't been charged. If you want to be here when the truth comes out, leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the next videos.